Deep Threat Sports Network fans, we are back with another episode of Opposite Field. Jordan's here with me today. We do not have Marty. He's out traveling, doing dad things. So good for Marty and his family. But hey, we are back. We're going to talk some baseball today. We're going to run through how the divisional series wrapped up, the championship series wrapped up, and give you a little World Series preview on what we think is going to happen. Spoiler alert, Jordan and I are not Yankees or Dodgers fans. So, we aren't the most thrilled about this. We kind of thought this is how it would shake out, but this was a nightmare come true for us. Obviously, Jordan's picks and my picks, neither one were very good. Marty did have the Dodgers in the World Series, so credit to him on that one. Like we talked about right away in one of our first episodes, we really did think that the Yankees and Dodgers could go ahead and do this. Just not something that we wanted to see, and we didn't want to be chalky, so we tried to make things interesting. But Jordan, here we are, man. It's the Yankees, it's the Dodgers. But first, we're going to dive into the divisional round, and we have the Mets knocking off the Phillies 3-1 in that series. Jordan, what did you see throughout that series? Are you kind of surprised that the Mets went ahead and got that done? I mean, what was your overall take from that?
Yeah, no, I'm really not surprised at all that the Mets knocked off the Phillies. I mean, they Phillies came off the bye, and usually that bye is tough, man. You come off of it and you get flat, and I mean, Aaron Nola didn't look like Aaron Nola. I mean, Bryce Harper was Bryce Harper though. He hit a few home runs, but I think the big turning point that I noticed was I'm not sure which game it was, but Phillies were up 1-0, and Alec Baum doubled right center field, and he got thrown out at second. And then the Mets came back and won right after that. And ever since then, it was an ass whooping. And I mean, you're going to hear an ass whooping a lot because there's a few of them in this divisional round. Man, I do not like the Mets, but then again, I mean, I was cheering for them to beat the Dodgers, but it is what it is.
Just
And
came up short, man. To
yep,
your point, we talked a little bit about how that bye could really make some of these better teams cold. And it didn't seem to be a factor for the Yankees or the Dodgers, but it did catch the Phillies, man. The Mets came in scorching hot. Matt Vientos batting 563. I mean, what a series for him. Lindor and Pete Alonso also played some good ball. But one thing that I did notice on the flip side of this is Nick Castellanos had a very good series. Nick Castellanos tried to do his best to put the Phillies on his back and get them going. So I want to give credit to him. I thought it was awesome. He hits a home run and goes over to his son. I thought that was really, really cool. Yeah, I'm on the flip side of you, Jordan. I was surprised that the Phillies actually got knocked. I mean, like we just talked about, again, they got cold, they got stale because they sat around and waited for the Mets to come in with some momentum, and they got caught. And that's just kind of what happens every once in a while. The Mets put things together in the second half of this season. So credit to them for a great run. And I really think Mets fans should probably be pretty happy with how things turned out for them because it didn't look like it was going to go this way throughout the season for them. But now let's dive into the Dodgers and the Padres a little bit while we're talking NLDS. The Dodgers knock off the Padres 3-2 in this series. The Padres did lead this series 2-1 at one point. Fernando Tatis looked to have all things going for him. The Dodgers just kind of got it going, and they won the next two games, knocked the Padres off. And I was thrown off by this one as well because I thought when the Padres went up 2-1, I thought there was no way they dropped the next two games. And man, they sure did. Jordan, what'd you kind of see in this one yourself?
yeah. I mean, the Padres came off hot, and I mean, they were whooping ass. Like, they smoked them the second game, and they were tied 1-1, and then they came out and won game three. I guess it would have been to go up 2-1, and I mean, they lost Joe Musgrove earlier in the series, and I think that's a big loss. I mean, that's one of your best pitchers, and when you're up 2-1 in the series to go to the NLDS and you don't score a run for 24 innings, it ain't gonna work.
Hey, that is not a recipe for
Yeah.
success, especially when you're playing a team like the Dodgers. They are star-studded through and through. Let's talk a little bit about how Freddie Freeman was banged up throughout this series. Looked to try to give it a go all the time. So credit to Freddie Freeman, man. That took some heart, that took some gut, and to really go out there for his team. Showed that he's kind of a leader. What a good performance by him. I felt like every time I turned around, I feel like I just continuously saw Mookie Betts doing good things. Otani's constantly doing good things. I mean, this is just a really good Dodgers team. It's hard to beat. And like you talked about, losing Joe Musgrove makes it really, really tough, man. I mean, you lose arguably, not arguably, their ace, and he goes down. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat a team like the Dodgers. So, yeah, credit to the Dodgers for going ahead and getting it done. Not what we wanted to see here. I guess Marty was the one that was correct on this go round. But hey, let's dive into the AL a little bit now, Jordan. We got the Guardians and the Tigers. I wanted to see the Tigers do this so bad. Everybody here knows that I was high on Scooble, high on the Tigers, and man, they performed. I cannot be upset with how they played down the stretch. I cannot be upset with everything the Tigers did achieve. Tariq Skubal got smacked around a little bit in this last game to lose the series. Lane Thomas smacks a grand slam to kind of seal the deal. End up tacking Skubal with 5 earned runs. The Tigers just never took over, Jordan. They just never really took over and sealed the deal. Kind of got stale. They don't really have a true scary hitter in that lineup to try to take things over for them. So I think they fell short with just kind of the lack of talent. I don't know how you felt about this one, but yeah, man, the Tigers, I'm sad to see them go.
Yeah, no, you nailed it there, man. Tariq Skubal getting rocked around for 5 earned runs, man. I just didn't see it. And Lane Thomas, hats off to him. He had a hell of a series, and I mean, nothing else more to say. You pretty well covered it, man. It was pretty good baseball, though. I think all of them were within 1 to 2 runs, and that's always fun to watch.
It was definitely some competitive baseball, and that definitely made it entertaining to watch. It was constantly, I felt like, can't miss baseball. I really did enjoy this series. My team that I was rooting for just ended up on the wrong side of things, but it was very, very entertaining baseball, Jordan. I couldn't agree with you more. Let's stay right here in the AL, continue on with the divisional series. We have the Yankees knocking off the Royals, and I'm going to be honest, this one for me wasn't really a competitive must-watch baseball series. Definitely wanted to see the Royals do their thing. They came up short as well. Yankees taking it 3 games to 1. Jordan, I was really pissed off by this one, man. I don't know if you feel the same way. I'm pretty sure you do. But this one really chapped my ass a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know you hate the Yankees, and man, I'm right there with you. And it's seeing the Royals, Bobby Witt, man, him and Vinny, and sucks to see for them guys that just ended, and especially against the Yankees. If they'd have lost to anyone else and played a hell of a series, I'd have been like, so be it. But they lost to the Yankees, so I'm kind of pissed off.
Man, when Bobby Witt and Vinny Pasquantino, your best 2 offensive players, Bobby Witt hits 118 and Vinny Pasquantino hits .063, that's going to make it extremely tough to win baseball games, especially against the Yankees because they're going to score runs. They proved that. That offense is loaded as well. Giancarlo Stanton played extremely well in this series, kind of took over for them. You didn't really get the performance out of Aaron Judge that we were kind of expecting, especially for October baseball. But Giancarlo Stanton did his part and took control of things and let the team know that, hey, don't worry, we're going to get through this. I got us. And, man, he did. So it's cool to see Giancarlo Stanton get hot, though. I've always kind of been a Giancarlo Stanton fan. It does suck he plays for the Yankees, but I do like seeing him be successful, especially with the highs and lows he's had there in New York. So, Jordan, now we're going to kind of move on and transition over. Do you have something else to add, Jordan?
No, I was just gonna say you just never heard about Giancarlo since he left Miami. I mean, he just pretty well fell off the face of the earth, it seems like. I mean, yeah, he hits balls like 121 mile an hour or whatever. But seeing him back in that Miami ball playing baseball like he did down there, it's pretty cool to see. I mean, he is a Yankee, and I'm not gonna give him much more credit, but
He does hit the ball hard, man. There ain't no doubt about that. When he connects with the baseball, he is one of the most aggressive hitters in baseball. I think he gets overshadowed just because of all the Aaron Judge conversation, the Aaron Judge hype, and rightfully so. Aaron Judge has been a specimen and really taken over for this New York Yankees program. But also, man, Jazz Chisholm kind of coming over to the team adds a little bit different of a dynamic, not necessarily what you usually see on the Yankees baseball team, but he does add a fun dynamic for this New York team. But yeah, like I said, let's transition into the championship series, and let's just stay right here in the American League. The Yankees match up against the Guardians, and the Yankees absolutely pummel the Guardians. This also was not a competitive series, in my opinion. The Yankees wrap it up 4-1. Jordan, The Guardians did not give us that performance that we were looking for. Emmanuel Clase kind of fell off in the postseason, it seemed like a little bit. He was getting hit around. And it looked like when that happened, the Guardians didn't really have an answer on the back half of baseball games without him performing at such a high level.
Yeah, man, we talked about Emmanuel Clase high. We talked about him, which I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good, but he got rocked this series. Like it seems like every game he was in the eighth or the ninth, and they were scoring runs on him. I think Giancarlo took him deep, Judge might have took him deep, and it's just when you have your closer like that, you relied on all year for almost all your wins. It's just you're just screwed.
Well, and then you see Emmanuel Clase kind of going back and tying this all into the divisional series. You kind of see the Tigers get a hold of him a little bit. Kerry Carpenter takes him deep on a pinch hit in that series, and he kind of never really looked the same after that. I don't know if he got a little rattled or maybe the pressure got to him a little bit, but let's not discredit what he did throughout the whole entire season. If it wasn't for Tariq Skubal having such a monumental season for himself, Emmanuel Clase probably would make a push at winning the Cy Young out of the bullpen. So that's very impressive by him. But yeah, not having him against the Yankees makes it extremely, extremely tough. Juan Soto in this series was an absolute monster. He took a fantastic at bat in extra innings to go ahead and seal the deal for the Yankees. That has like a, I don't know, like a what, 9-10 pitch at bat, and then parks one in the 10th pitch to give the Yankees, I think it was a 2-3 run lead. And it just kind of buried the Guardians, man. You knew at that moment the run for them was probably over. Gleyber Torres also looked really good in this series. You know, speaking of John Carlos saying a second ago, he kind of crashed back down to reality a little bit in the championship series. Aaron Judge still hasn't got it going throughout the championship series. And really what it looked like to me, the Guardians' best player offensively, I kind of thought was Bo Naylor throughout this series for them. And outside of that, the Guardians just never really got it going. So it's just a shame that it has to go this way. And we're going to continue to talk about the Yankees here again in a minute. Now let's transition over to the National League Championship Series. We had the Dodgers taking on the Mets. The Mets came in extremely hot. The Mets tried to keep things rolling and kind of knock off the Dodgers. They didn't happen. They did not beat the Dodgers. I don't feel like they competed too much down the stretch. They did make things interesting a little bit, but it was just one of those deals where I continuously felt like the Dodgers had this game in full control, the whole entire series in full control. Talking about Freddie Freeman being banged up, he was still banged up throughout this series. And the Dodgers are doing this without arguably one of their best hitters in Freddie Freeman. Every time we turn around, Mookie Betts is hitting another ball out of the ballpark. Mookie Betts, great series, great baseball player, really, really catapulting the Dodgers. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani doing his thing. This is just a star-studded team. But, Jordan, I think we have an ex-Cardinal that got traded to the Dodgers that you want to talk about a little bit that really, really, really helps this Dodgers baseball team perform at such a high level and get the job done.
Yeah, this past season, Cardinals traded Tommy Edman over there. I think they got Eric Fetty. Was it from the White Sox? It was a three-team trade. And man, I mean, he was hurt for the first half of the season, and then they ended up shipping him off. And what a kick in the balls that is, and I love it. I mean, it just goes to show you like how many Cardinals are on the team right now that can go somewhere else and get a hitting coach that is competent and just being awesome. I mean, they have talent in St. Louis. It just shows you the coaching's horrible.
They just don't get the talent to perform here. I mean, to your point, it just proves that there's clearly gaps in this coaching staff and this organization for the St. Louis Cardinals that don't get the job done. I mean, we see this time and time again. These players go out, perform for these other baseball teams at a high level and have success. I mean, Tommy Edman hit 407 with a home run in this series, Jordan. I mean, he slots in at the 4 hole. We're without Freddie Freeman, the Dodgers are, and you slot Tommy Edman right in there. And I don't know if Freddie Freeman could have hit 407 and helped him like Tommy Edman did in that 4 hole throughout this series. Max Muncy also performed in this series. The Dodgers they just got it, man. It sucks. They got it. It is what it is. And now let's transition right into this. Now we have a Yankees Dodgers World Series. Clearly, these two teams are the highest paid teams in all of baseball. It's not even close. It's by a landslide. So, and honestly, I hate to even say this, but I do think you got the best two teams in the World Series. I really do. I actually am anxious to see how this plays out. I do think it'll be a high level competitive baseball series. I joke all the time about how I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to watch it because it's World Series baseball and I have to watch it. I'm just a massive sports fan, massive baseball fan, and I really do want to see how this shakes out. I can't tell you who I'm cheering for because I can't decide on that. I wish they would both lose, but I don't know what to expect, Jordan. Do you have an edge on this? Do you think you have a team that's going to take it? Do you think it'll go all seven? I mean, what are your thoughts on this baseball series?
Yeah, well, you said about the two best teams in the league, and it is. I mean, I hate to say that, and I just seen Jack Flaherty versus Garrett Cole in Game One, and man, I don't think I'm gonna pick a winner. I Now, if you have a Freddie Freeman that's healthy, I'm probably gonna side with the Dodgers just because I don't know. I don't like saying that because I hate them. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to everyone just go bet the over each game, get
Yes.
it early, and just ride. Cheer for runs and just hope they both lose.
I think with high level competitive baseball lineups like this, I'm with you, man. Hammer the over in every game. I don't think you're going to lose money on this. It may not hit every game, but if this just goes at least five, I'm willing to bet the over hits in at least three of them. Neither team's pitching just absolutely blows me away. I mean, they both have good pitchers. They both have guys that can actually go out there and throw you 6 or 7 good innings. That wouldn't surprise me from any of these guys on these teams. But with these lineups, man, it is 1 through 9 all the way around. Both teams can hit the ball out of the ballpark consistently. I did read that Freddie Freeman is talking about how he's going to be good to go and healthy and 100% in game one. He really, and not really, I can't say enjoyed, but needed the time off to get healthy and get right. And apparently he did that. I don't know if that's a scare tactic or if that's accurate. He looked pretty gimpy and banged up throughout the postseason so far. So I'd be shocked if he's actually 100%. But if he's back in this lineup, I'm with you. You got Tommy Edman coming into this hitting 407. He stays hot. Teoscar Hernandez keeps doing his thing, sprinkling what Mookie Betts is doing, Otani, and now you're getting the most out of Max Muncy again. Really, really hard to beat this Dodgers team and this Dodgers lineup. But on the flip side of that, you have the Yankees who got to this point with Aaron Judge going cold in the postseason. You see a guy like talked about him a second ago, like Gleyber Torres step up. You see, John Carlos step up earlier throughout it. You have guys on the Yankees who are stepping up and contributing to this team. I think if you can really get this Yankees lineup to get going, I don't think they're going to lack any motivation. I mean, it's the World Series. This is what you play for all season. This is what you go through the highs and lows for throughout a long baseball season of 162 games. This is what they all tried to get to, and they're here now. I also am anxious to see how Garrett Cole looks in this World Series. I think you could really see Garrett Cole perform. I really think you could see Garrett Cole obviously come out and give it everything he's got in the games that he pitches. He's pitching game one against Jack Flaherty. So it looks like at this point in time, Garrett Cole would probably be ready by what is that, game 5, 6, or 7 at that point, depending on how it shakes out. So, I mean, Garrett Cole will pitch twice. That's way more scary than Jack Flaherty pitching twice against the Yankees, in my opinion. So that really shapes up well for the Yankees. And I'll probably give the pitching edge to the Yankees a little bit. I also read today that they're talking about adding a 13th starting pitcher for their postseason roster, or not, maybe not starter, sorry, another 13th pitcher on the postseason roster, and it looks like it could be Nestor Cortez. So, man, the Yankees do have plenty of arms. Hell, the Dodgers have plenty of arms, man. We're talking about the two highest paid teams in baseball. So it does make it entertaining. They paid to get here, and they're here. So I mean, their plans worked out. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just a battle of the two teams in baseball that everybody thought going into this season, for the most part, unless you were just in denial like we were, was probably going to make the World Series. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it, Jordan. I don't know what you have. I mean, if the Yankees get hot and all their players get hot, they can compete and they can win this. I'm going to sit here and ponder a little bit longer, maybe while you take over for a second and think, and I'm going to make a prediction on what team I'm going to take and then how many games. So, I mean, take it over for me a minute. Let me rack my brain and let me think about this real quick.
Yeah, just the thinking about the amount of stars that are going to be on the field. Like they're both their lineups. And I mean, Garrett Cole and I mean, Yamamoto is going to, but you got Otani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts. That's just their top three. Then you got Judge, Juan Soto, Adam Verdugo, Giancarlo, Jazz Chisholm. I mean, I could just sit here and I don't even have enough fingers to count all the just the star baseball players that are going to be out there. And I think the Dodgers' best pitcher, in my opinion, is Yamamoto. And I guess they're going to go in there thinking they're going to rock Garrett Cole and just win game one, which, I mean, it don't really matter who you pitch if you're scoring 9 or 12 runs a game, which is just insane to think about. But I think the Dodgers are hoping to win game one, which everyone's hoping to win. But I think their mindset is Yamamoto is going to get game two and they can go up 2-0, which it would not surprise me at all. And I think I hate both teams pretty equally, but I'm going to make a prediction here. And I'm going to go with the Dodgers winning in game six. And I think that the games are close, but like I said, I think that if you're across state lines and you can bet, I say just pound the over and just let it ride. Don't pick any winners. Don't trust me on the Dodgers, but I think the over is a fat play in this one.
What's so funny about you picking the Dodgers in six is, Jordan, I'm not shitting you. I was going to pick the Yankees in six. So let's go at it, baby. Let's throw a little friendly wager on this, you and I. I'm going to take the Yankees in six. I think they win game one because of Garrett Cole. I think he gives them a good outing on the bump the first game. I think the Yankees can get to Jack Flaherty. He does not scare me if I'm a Yankee. The Yankees did this, like I said, without Aaron Judge. On the flip side of that, the Dodgers did this without a healthy Freddie Freeman. So it really makes it a real true fun dynamic as to how this shakes out. But I think Jazz Chisholm gets it going here. We have Carlos Rodon on the bump a little bit for the Yankees, Garrett Cole on the bump for the Yankees. Luke Weaver has been really good out of the bullpen for the Yankees. I think the Yankees can go get this done. I really do. And to your point, though, it is really interesting outside of these teams' pitchers in the top 1-2, because you really kind of ask yourself, how does it shake out? Do they throw the bullpen at them? Do they have openers? How do they go about this in the postseason? But I think Garrett Cole throwing game one can get the Yankees out to an early stretch. And I really do like that. The World Series is 2-3-2. And when I say 2-3-2, that's 2 games at one place, 3 games at one place, 2 games at one place. Jordan, off the top of your head, do you know who has home field first 2 games?
I want to say the Dodgers do. Let me look real quick because
You
I
would be
don't,
correct. It's Dodgers,
was the
Dodgers,
Dodgers.
Yankees, 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 Dodgers, Dodgers. So I feel like that kind of helps the Yankees in six a little bit more than I initially thought, because if they can steal game one from the Dodgers at LA, probably drop game two just because that's usually how it shakes out. They're 1-1 going into their home field. If they could snatch 2 of those, make it 3, maybe drop one, and now they're up 3-2. I think they can go win that in game six. I don't know if G. Cole will be out there on game 5 or game 6. I guess it depends on how it shakes out. It looks like game 1 to game 5, there's a 5-day, okay, so you have 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. So what is that? You got a 5 or 6 day gap. Maybe he would go game 5. You might be right, especially if they're up 3-2 at that point. Maybe he does go game 5 to try to keep it from getting too interesting. But I'm going to stick with it. Yankees in six. You have Dodgers in six. I love how that works out. Man, how happy is the MLB front office that they have the Yankees and Dodgers in this? I mean, this is everything they wanted, isn't it?
Yeah, no, they couldn't have wrote the script any better.
No, man. This is exactly, if they could have put pen to paper, they would have drew it up just like this. And that's also part of the reason that I have that feeling in the back of my head that it maybe does go 7 and they maximize this. And that wouldn't surprise me at all. But I'm with you, man. We're going to ride the over all the way through. I just have one question before we get out of here. Do you think that baseball should put a hard salary cap on this? Because this is exactly what happens when you essentially piece together almost super teams in baseball.
Yeah, so like the Dodgers, I think what was Otani's contract, Colin? Like 10
It,
years, 700 million, but
it
it's
was something
only
along those lines ridiculous, but it was all backloaded.
is all backloaded. So I mean they only technically pay him 600 and I think they paid him man, 20 million or something up front, maybe it was. And then they backloaded the rest. So I mean they got 10 years to pay him $680 million. And it's just shit like that. It just opens it up for it just opens their whole cap up, and they can just, like, they went and get Yamamoto. They spent 400 something million on him, I'm pretty sure. And it's
Something
just
crazy, man.
ridiculous.
They were flat spending money. They were not shy of spending money. But hey, on the flip side of that, here we are, Cardinals fans, and all we do is bitch and moan because the Cardinals don't spend money in the right places. And you know what? Good for the Dodgers. Good for the Yankees. Glad it worked out for them. They pushed the chips in. It worked. They brought great baseball and are trying to bring a ring to their fans. They brought championship series pennants to hang up at their stadiums. Had success. So you know what, man? Good for them. Glad it worked out. Chaps my ass that we have to talk about the Yankees and Dodgers here. As I'm sure you guys can tell, if this was like the Tigers or Royals versus the Mets or something, or the Padres, we would have dove into this even more just because we would have so much excitement around this. We'd be tuned in, not missing a beat. But man, I am going to tune in. I'm going to watch these games. I'm going to give it my full and best effort to sit back and just enjoy good playoff baseball. And that's all I can ask for at this point, Jordan, is that we have good, high-level competitive baseball throughout the World Series. Hell, I hope it goes 7 games. I hope it's like 8-7 every game through 7 games so we can come back and wrap up the season and talk about how exciting it actually was, even though we didn't have a team that we were pulling for.
Yeah, so I just looked it up right here. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 12-year, $325 million. Shohei Ohtani, 700 million, 10 years. And they extend Tyler Glasnow, 137 million for 5 years. That was this offseason. It came out to be $1,161,500.
Well, and speaking of Tyler Glasnow, we're talking about a guy that's on the shelf and not even pitching for the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers aren't even all the way healthy, man. Shohei's not pitching. Glasnow's not pitching. This is insane. Freddie Freeman's banged. I mean, this is a team that's going to come right back next year and do the same damn thing. So get used to it if you're a baseball fan. It's unfortunate.
Sorry, I messed that up. It's 1,161,500,000. And
It's
I mean, what did
insane.
Cardinals do this year? They went and got a Happy Meal and $300 and gave it to Tommy Pham for 3 weeks and then DFA'd him. I mean, look at us
Yeah.
go.
Hey, don't forget, man. We signed Sonny Gray.
Oh yeah, we
Don't
got
forget about
Sonny.
that. But hey, the Cardinals are already talking about exercise and moving on from Sonny Gray, moving on from Wilson Contreras, moving on from Nolan Arenado, moving on from Paul Goldschmidt. So hey, it sounds like they're going to blow this thing up. They're a few years
Yep.
late, in my opinion, to the party on that. So we're just going to sit back as Cardinals fans and watch these other organizations have success. And while they're struggling, I'm going to cheer on the Royals and Tigers again next year. Go Royals, go Tigers. I'm going to cheer for those young superstars they have on those teams. And I'm just going to drown in my sorrows, Jordan. We're going to watch some playoff baseball yet again without the Cardinals being involved. Didn't think they would get to this point anyway, especially the World Series. But hey, I have all the time in the world to harp on the Cardinals. I mean, I could do this for hours harping on them.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's just, man, it's back, baby. I love the World Series, and I mean, yeah, it's a little Debbie Downer this year. You got the two shitty teams in there, but hey, man, it's what can you want? Bet the over, baby. Win some money.
Just bet the over, baby. We're going to keep pounding pavement on betting the over. But yeah, what could be interesting too is it could get a little chilly out there in New York throughout this 7 game series. I think Game 7 would be on November 2nd, and that could be a cold one. I know that's in LA, but hell, that could be a cold, chilly one in LA. So maybe the baseball doesn't fly as well. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here against our over and talk some of you guys into going and betting the under so it walks it down for us a little bit. But I mean, in all reality, the baseball does get cold. It could not fly as much. But when you sprinkle in all these power hitters and Shohei, Aaron Judge, Stanton, Mookie Betts, I mean, the list just Juan Soto, the list just continues to go on. There's guys that can park the baseball all over both these teams, just littered with talent through and through.
Yeah, no, I agree. You said earlier a little friendly wager, man. I am not wagering nothing with you because I do not want to cheer on a team. I want to see
No,
him score some runs, but I am not going to sit here and cheer my ass cheer for the Dodgers. I can guarantee you that.
No, the best way to describe this for me is it's going to be a sporting event that I have on in the background that I'm tuned into. And when, you kind of hear the fans get that excitement going, you really kind of lock in. If there's some runners on and you got a big name guy at the plate, which, I mean, 1 through 9, there's probably going to be a big guy at the plate. So, however that shakes out. But yeah, like I'm not going to be fully invested like I would if it was some of these other teams, but I'll have it on. I'll be tuned in. I'll be watching. I'll be able to come back and talk to you because even though we don't like these two teams, all you and I have done since then is still talk about these two teams via text, talking about, this really sucks, but man, the Dodgers are really good. This really sucks, but the Yankees are really good. And man, it's just unfortunate because when I watched it, I knew the Royals didn't have a chance in hell. I knew the Guardians didn't have a chance in hell. I knew the Mets didn't have a chance in hell. I can't say that about the Padres because I think the Padres had it right there, man. The Padres had it right there to knock them off. They just blew it. I don't know how else to say it. They just blew it.
24 scoreless innings, and that is, like I said, that is unbearable. You
I
can't do
mean,
that.
you cannot win a divisional series like that. The Mets did have a chance, not to really circle back, just kind of wrapping it up here. The Mets did have a chance, but I'll be honest with you, Jordan. I don't know if it would be Yankees Mets and we got an all New York World Series. I don't know how much better that is.
No, that's not no better. But
I mean,
honestly, a New York World Series would be a hell of a lot more electric than a Dodgers Yankees. I mean, it's still going to be electric, but with it just in New York all the time, that would have been cool. Screw both them teams. I'm glad the Mets lost, and
you would have had brawls
hope they
breaking
score
out
some
all
runs.
over the place. You would have saw guys that are drunk in the stands just throwing dukes in the background as the game's being broadcasted. The Mets Yankees rivalry, if it would have stayed in the Big Apple, that would have been nuts. I mean, that would have been something to really talk about. But here we go, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the Yankees in 6.
Pete Alonso probably would have killed someone.
Oh yeah, let's Pete Alonso. Do you think he's still on the Mets next year?
Oh man. I hope because I don't like the Mets and I don't like Pete Alonso, so it kind of just
Just keep him where
washes
we
it
don't
out.
like him, baby.
Keep
Just
them
keep
where
him
we
where we
hate
don't
them,
like him.
baby. But
that's
yeah,
that's
Dodgers
funny.
in 6. That's what
Yankees
I'm
in 6
riding with.
here. Hammer the over. Hey Jordan, we'll come back to you guys. We'll circle back. We'll have Marty back on here with us. We'll get our host back. We'll circle back. We may get one throughout the middle of the World Series. Just talk about how things are going. We'll look how our schedules are shaping up. We are super busy with all these other shows as well going right now. Hey, Jordan's a big time hunter. Jordan's going to start getting some footage out there on his hunts. We're going to start talking over that while he hunts a little bit. Bring some exciting stuff to you there. Way more exciting than us sitting here talking to you guys about the Yankees and Dodgers, because I'm sure most of our listeners out there in this area of the the middle area states aren't Yankees or Dodgers fans either. And if you are, that's a real crock of shit. I don't recommend being a fan of those teams. But hey, man, we got some exciting stuff to you. We'll circle back. We'll wrap this up, talk about the World Series, and then we'll bust it right into the offseason. And to me, Jordan, the offseason is extremely fun to talk about. We have all kinds of scenarios, tons of free agents, tons of trades that could go down. We can sit here all day and talk about where we want guys to go, what we think the best fits are, and we will really break that down for you guys this offseason. And I am looking really forward to that. Looking real forward to talk to you guys about what the Cardinals won't do. So that's extremely exciting as well. But hey, Jordan, man, we kept this brief. We covered it all, though. We didn't miss out on any of the key details, any of the key stats. We brought it to you guys right here. Once again, this is another episode of the Deep Threat Sports Network Opposite Field Podcast. That's Jordan. I'm Collin. Next time around, we'll have Marty with us. You could follow us on X at DT_sports_. TikTok, Deep Threat Sports. Facebook, Deep Threat Sports Network. Instagram, Deep Threat Sports with a Z. YouTube, Deep Threat Sports. Hey, Jordan, until next time, man. Peace.
Deuces.